as they are recorded. We are going to continue our update on ARP agencies. I think probably after these three, we may have about 4 more, Chief, something like
I
that.
think we may have more than 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so we will be doing this for a while.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. The council had to ask for updates when we're going through our budget process, so you have got 3 lined up for us today, so just go ahead and introduce them as they're on the list.
Okay, sounds good. It's good to see you, council. Let me see here. Guys, do I need to hit a button?
Always.
All right, perfect. So first up today, we have Dynamo Studios. As a reminder, Dynamo was awarded $200,000 for the Mobile Studio Lab Youth Engagement Initiative. And we have the executive director from Dynamo Studios, Mr. Kessler Cuffman, who is here to present today. So without further delay, I will ask Kessler to come on up, and I'll be driving the slides for him. Kessler, you want to have a seat right here?
Hey, sit here.
Sit here?
Yeah.
All
By all
right. How do you
means.
stand up? That's cool. Sit down.
No,
That's fine.
I don't bite.
Cool. Oh, hey.
She does slap,
Famous.
though,
No,
so-
it's
What's that?
not hard anyway.
That's fine. That's fine. That's okay. All right. So how you doing, y'all? First off, thank you for the support. We've made very good use of these resources, and there's a lot that has happened because of it. So we'll go through these real quick and kind of give you a summary after that. But our organization is piloting a variety of programs and capitalizing on the successful pre-existing program models we've used over the years. Our primary focus is the student development and moving the needle for them as individual people, and then putting together things and putting it all in place so that we can move the needle economically here locally in the music and creative economy. Over the last year alone, we impacted over 1,050 kids locally. The org impacted over 4,000 between the 3 cities we operate in, Chat being the HQ for it all. We've launched a new music and media production space in partnership with the city at the South Chat Community Center. That's been a massive success. We were able to renovate the space, get a lot of gear installed. We've cut some monster records there for some huge artists, and students have been at the center of all of it, which is pretty sweet.
Now, let me stop you. Are the students actually doing the producing?
Yep. Yeah, we're doing, for example, we just launched the Beats and Books program, and those are 100% student-produced songs and, 100% student-produced videos and all that as well. But I just did a song for Diplo recently, and I had a student engineer guitar for that. So, he got his name on it, and that's pretty big for a senior in high school. Mm-hmm. So it was cool, So they're in it, it's really cool.
I don't know that Chairman Henderson knows who Diplo is.
Diplo is very famous.
You made it sound like a big deal, so I went with it.
I just wrote it down.
I went with it.
Yeah.
If you said Conway Twitty, he'd probably be on board.
Oh, word. Yeah.
I told.
I'm trying to convince you.
Some people know him. We'll say that.
Okay.
A few.
I am not one of them.
That's okay. But anyways, the students have participated in the programs. We call them kind of our core students. And usually if you take a class out of 20 kids, every student grows and, learns and, gets a lot out of it. But we've got usually those 5 out of every 20 that really, really go after and have something here. So those are the ones who've been really going hard at the studio. And 100% of the students across the board in that category, test scores have gone up, their school attendance has gone up, their student buy-in at school's gone up. Behavior issues have decreased across the board, the teacher feedback is strong, the parent feedback is strong, or guardian feedback is strong. Between all the schools and programs we offer here in Chat, so there's all the schools and the stuff at the center, we did over 1,700 production classes last year. So it adds up quick when you're doing multiple classes every day at each school. We did more than this, but 30 live audio video projects that were released, 50 plus artists were supported, throughout it as well. We did 10 high-level video projects. One of those I'm sure you guys saw was the Usher Key to the Video, or Key to the City video. The students produced a ton of that. And then there was over 40 plus professional opportunities for students
What do you
that
mean by that
participated.
as well? 40 plus professional opportunities.
So what are they?
Yeah, like what?
That could be, so its difference is like, are they in class or are they actually in the field doing something? So it could be shooting photos at a concert, recording an artist, anything like that.
Is it, so it's something they are getting paid for? I mean,
It depends. So the students who are good enough to warrant getting paid, they're getting paid every time. The ones who are still learning, we create those opportunities where we'll help, back them up and create content alongside them, just in case they're not able to deliver at the level yet. But they pretty much deliver.
So that's 40 opportunities, but that's not 40 kids, right? That's
Oh no, that's it was more than one opportunity a week, outside of holidays.
But I mean, like, how many kids would be impacted on those professional opportunities?
We're a lot. The ones in schools, if we're able to bring the artists into the school to work at one of our studios there, it would be, 10 kids at a time who are helping run things and are a part of it.
Okay.
If it's stuff at the studio, it could be as many as 20 in a room working with an artist at one time. The stuff when it's at a concert, we can't have 20 kids in a photo pit, but we usually have at least 2 to 3 with us every single time. So I could be shooting at like the Signal or Moon River, or some of our kids did really well, so this band hit us up on for their tour opener down in Atlanta. So we drove down there with them, and we took 4 kids on that one.
So this is something they are getting exposure, they're getting seen. I'm assuming this would lead to employment opportunities somewhere down the road.
100%. Yep.
So is it just music or is it camera? Is it?
So it's everything creative economy within the music industry, and we're about to do like a little rebrand, not necessarily like full brand, but our messaging and our narrative, it's creative economy. So photo, video, design, web, all the stuff in the creative space that isn't fine arts related. It's all the things with like very direct career paths that we can also align to standards within schools and CTE. So during our summer camps, we had 20 plus students every single day for June and July at the South Chat Community Center. And this was pretty much for a full school day, which I thought was cool because these kids could be at home playing video games or doing literally anything else during the summer, but they stayed with us every day other than Fridays for a full school day to learn production and content creation. We give them literally unrestricted access to the equipment, and they're able to go book sessions on their own. We have several students who created their own small businesses essentially as high schoolers, and they're getting paid to do photo shoots. Other ones are getting paid to shop beats and run recording sessions. So this thing right there, that was just one thing we did recently. That's the guy pointing at the screen is Rourke Bailey. He's got about 90 million record sales to his name, and those are all students there working with him. So these guys are the best of the best, and it's everything from Lenny Kravitz to Kanye. He's worked with everyone, and he's super tied in with the kids. And the cool part is that when these guys work with them, there's always a couple students they hit it off with, and they're like, hey, can we get like their emails or parents' information, something, and they keep working with the kids even remotely if they're not here, which is pretty sweet.
Question. So, Councilman Ledford and I both have roles in the past in being in what I guess now would be a creative economy to some extent. You're in design and printing. I've been in web design and multimedia development. But you're using phrases that make me think that the creative economy has changed a lot. Like when you said shopping beats, and this makes me feel really old and not very cool. And you listed photo, video, design, web. Can you just, in a few more words, explain a little more slowly for somebody like me that just turned 46, what all the different ways are that somebody can make a living in this creative economy? Because I get the impression there are more ways now than maybe there were before.
Yeah.
And that would be helpful to me to understand.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, I just presented at Cisco yesterday in Atlanta about this specific thing. It's easier than ever these days to create, whether that's music or content or whatever.
Okay.
So the secret sauce to really making it is getting good at multiple things. So when I get called in as a producer now, people know that they're going to get a guy who can run the equipment as an audio engineer, produce as a musician, songwrite, but also do the content creation. So they know if they book me, they're getting all of it because it
Yeah,
makes
but
it right.
what does that mean when you say do the content creation?
Like
and-
photo, video of sessions.
Okay, so a musician might be in a studio and they might be taking photos of the songs being recorded, created. I'm trying to like pull in any Beatles movies I've seen or.
Well, all the behind the scenes stuff,
All
that's the
behind-
stuff that gets fans like really, really engaged.
Okay,
And then social media is really the key these days. So the
okay,
more content, the better. And they say in the industry, if you're an artist, like, yeah, you're a creator, but the big thing is you're a content person. Like
Okay.
TikTok, Instagram, all that. As much as I hate it, that's just the game now. So
not as much you're a musician, but you're a content creator.
Mhm.
Oh, fascinating.
yeah, so music has made its way into the content space, which is really weird, and it's kind of a new, uncharted territory for this part of the creative world. But yeah, so the content is huge.
And I guess that means there's just more opportunities for more people to be involved, hence this creative economy.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no
Thank you,
problem.
Chair.
Councilman Hester?
How do you advertise? How do you recruit the kids for the summer camps?
So the summer camps, we put stuff out on socials, word of mouth, just organic stuff, kind of grassroots. That's how we've always done it. But we always go to our teachers that we partner with in the school district first. I'm like, hey, who are the kids who are really getting after it and taking this serious and going above and beyond? So we try to get them in there. And that's, for the most part, those are kids from kind of the impact neighborhoods we work with. We get a few every now and then from the Mountain or Signal or something, but for the most part, it's kids from the west side, Alton Park, East Lake, and kind of the Dalewood, Brainerd area.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilwoman Nutt?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So Councilman Hester touched on one of my questions. I want to know how the students were selected. And then, so my second question would be, who gives you the data for the grades improving? So where you get that data from?
We just go to the teachers specifically. That's part of our arrangements with our MOUs with each school. So we hold an MOU with every single school we partner with.
So is it
And-
documented?
Yeah, so data collection is part of the arrangement. Like, we're going to throw resources and opportunities and support at the school, but they have to provide that for us because you have to have that for grants.
Okay. Okay, so the summer camp what's the length of time? Is it a week, 2 weeks, or the entire summer?
It's the whole summer.
Whole summer,
Yeah, we
okay.
take the week of the 4th of July off, but other than that, it's the whole summer.
So what's the limit to the students in the summer camp?
We
Yeah,
try to limit it to 25, and then it's it's averages about 20 every day because some kids take vacation or whatever. So we limit it to that. I don't want it to be a huge number where the quality of impact is negatively impacted. So that's kind of what we aim for.
Okay, so was it just summer camp or was it year round?
We have programs year round, but
Year-round,
our
okay.
big summer camp is always a thing that people get excited about. So we just highlighted that one.
Okay, because I'm just thinking if you have 20 or 25 and then there's still 15 that wanted to and didn't have an opportunity to, if they would have an opportunity later.
Yeah,
in
we
the year
we
to
keep
be
it
able to
going through. So
participate.
the stuff at the schools, we have after school programs at pretty much every school, and then we also continue programming at the center.
Okay, all right, cool, thank you.
Councilman Hester, do you have?
Here's a shameless question. We won't tell anybody. You found the next usher?
We got one kid who's actually pretty good. He's like really, really crazy good. So we're developing him, but we've got students help run all his sessions and stuff. So they're part of like helping break an artist. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
He's really doing he's doing real numbers. So we're gonna try to help. We're working with his parents, and there's labels trying to sign him already, and We're just like, hold on, don't sign anything, please. Just let's get your brand developed, get your
Right.
business right,
High
and
school diploma.
yeah, please graduate high school.
Yeah.
How many schools in the Chattanooga area?
We're in 7 right now.
Good seven.
Yeah. Yeah, about to be a couple more, but yeah, it'll come out soon.
Okay.
Yeah, we're helping them with their ISM grants they got. So we were able to launch at Tyner through that. We're about to launch at Orchard Knob with that. And I think part of Dalewoods was off of ISM as well, but they had a bunch of random grants coming at once, so it's kind of a mix, I think.
So when would city council get to see that show?
See what?
When would city council get to see this person doing what they do?
Oh, I'll let y'all know. I'll send out an email.
All right, cool.
Yeah, no, we're trying to set them up with some shows and see if we can get them to open for some big dogs when they come through on tour. 'Cause that's kind of how you start making it. You got to open for people. So we're trying to make that a thing in Chattanooga where hopefully Live Nation plays nice and we can get them to let people open here.
Okay.
That will help the city's music economy a lot. But yeah, so next slide. So our master classes, those are cool. Those are led by a songwriter from Sony Music which is a huge major label. She's down in Atlanta, so she comes up here and teaches songwriting. This is really cool because it's open to adults and kids. So we have adult producers and writers learning alongside students, which is always really, really cool. And it's awesome for the kids because, you know, they see people that are older than them, and when you're a kid, you think adults know everything. And then you realize they don't, and you're learning right with them, and it's kind of a cool dynamic, and it's really, really fun. But the production programs have expanded heavily into media and content creation. We're doing stuff for a brand called Terran in town. We're doing stuff with CFC and the MLS network, and Super Chief, which is a media agency in town. So we've got students help, shoot and document the games or matches or whatever they're called now. Metrics, we're really focusing in currently on the emotional health side of things. Grades, mentor feedback, professional portfolios are pretty easy, but the emotional health is significant in terms of impacting and moving the needle for a kid, especially a kid who'd be from, experiences poverty. The fallout from that is heavy. And if you factor in most of our students are Black and Hispanic kids. When you factor in the race side of it too, it compounds it even more. So we're really trying to hit that one on the head and build that into every facet of our programming going forward. It's been something we've done forever, but we're working with some different counselors in towns and therapists to put together a really strong model that one helps the kids, but we can also pass the model off to other teachers or local producers or local content creators in town, so they're equipped to also, impact these kids on a small group mentor or mentee level. And you can go to the next one. So community impact, like I said, we've expanded to other schools. We just built a monster recording studio at CCA. Our Civitas sessions, Civitas is a Latin word for community. So that's where we open the studio up to anyone. And we do kind of small group invites, and then they can invite somebody to the next one, and it kind of keeps it controlled so it's not overrun with 1 million people. It keeps it, a nice healthy number, but people that are driven and are there for the right reasons. We also bring up briefs from record labels. So a brief is when a label says, this artist is working, this is the sound they want, this is the project they need. So we give those briefs to local producers, and we have students as part of that as well. So it makes it where they can get paid. We've gotten some producers in town were able to get placements with commercials. One got a shoe commercial and got paid $5,000 for one song, just making a minute-long song. It wasn't even a full song. It's just, that's called sync, is when you're making music for media and content creation. That money's crazy good. So that right there, that picture, we did a producer-writer camp up on Signal Mountain several weeks ago. And brought some of the biggest writers and producers in the industry to Chattanooga, and we were creating music up on the mountain. And I cannot say, because this is all recorded, I cannot say who it's all for, but you will hear it, and it's going to be pretty sweet. But we do have another camp coming up here in 2.5 weeks with Rodney Darkchild Jerkins. And if you've ever heard of Michael Jackson, then you have heard his music, or
I have
Bieber.
heard him.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's why I looked that way. I was like, maybe he knows MJ.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, so Rodney is top 3 producers in music ever, not like currently, but like period. Like he is as big as it gets. So he will be here for a week, full 7 days, and we're going to be at that same house on Signal making music. And during the day, we're going to come meet with some students at schools, and then we're going to take them over to see the band. And we got some important people looking at the city right now, and they're pumped about it. And then next slide.
Quick question on the bench. Is that for the music venue that's gonna be built?
There's so much happening.
We're good.
way beyond that. It's that plus a lot.
I know where I'm tracking.
I can show you the whole thing soon. It's big, but so other thing that's really cool is that Jodo, when he was with the city, he talked about this with us. He's like, we've seen what you've done when you didn't really have anything. This is your first like monster grant, and we're really excited to see what you do when you do have something. And we did a lot. This grant positioned us to raise a lot of money, expand a lot of programs, and I mean we landed a $1 million grant from the state recently. We've been approached by major labels trying to sign the nonprofit to record deals, which is I didn't even know was a thing. But yeah, I mean it's going crazy. The student impact's awesome. The parent feedback is awesome. The principals and administrators are excited. There's just it all started with this grant. I mean, it was like thank y'all for that. It really moved the needle for us.
So with that grant, sort of seed money, you're able to sustain
Right now,
this
yeah.
kind of growth or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, our budget 4 years ago was $126K, and right now it's a little over 1.2 million. And we've got another grant in the pipeline for another $1 million from the state for 18 months following the current round as well. So I mean, it's trending way up. So
It's outstanding.
appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, so we're just trying to. The name of the game now in terms of sustainability is expanding our partnerships like way beyond just regional stuff. So, national grants and, stuff that's outside of our local community just to keep the sustainability up. Next slide. That's not us. There was a quote. I guess it didn't get dropped in there. But it was a quote from a parent saying, "This is really great," in a nutshell. But yeah, so that's everything.
Councilman Lefty?
This not only opens
Wow.
doors, but this opens the world
It does.
to so many people. This is exciting.
I appreciate
Thank
it. I mean, this us being between Nashville and Atlanta. Like, I know that's not Chattanooga, but I'm here because I can drive to either and cut records or do content or whatever and be back by dinner. You know what I mean? So us being here geographically, it's like a cheat code. Like it really is, and capitalizing on that. And that's part of what we're gonna get to eventually with the band. You guys are gonna hear all about that very soon. But us where we're at, like you can't. This isn't like I was with the Grammy Association, and they're like, this doesn't exist anywhere else on earth.
Yeah.
Like we're located between two of the largest music economies in existence, an hour and 45 either way. Like they're like, how has nobody done this? I was like, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this is a real opportunity for the city, and it's obviously going to open a lot of doors for the kids.
The skill sets that are learned, musical theaters it's big in our house, really big. And the skills learned on the tech boards and whatnot can transfer over very easily, I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
absolutely.
And that
Yeah,
is a whole skill set in itself that rivals, I think, what's going on stage.
Yep.
I really believe
The
that.
technical prowess needed for that is
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
So we're
phenomenal.
working with Barrel House Ballroom right now, with Brian Kipsel and the Monans and all them. We're gonna get a program set up where kids can learn live production there. So we got to. It's the pre-production for shows happens during the school day. So we've got to figure that out with like a CTE model where they can get there during school to help with like the setup, the sound check, and then actually go there after school to run the show. But yeah, I mean, if we can crack that code, that's gonna open a lot of doors. And then once the Tivoli's done and these
Right.
other big venues, and then
Yeah.
amphitheater.
Yeah, we're on it. We're right. Yeah,
Yes.
you're
Is there an opportunity for an official apprenticeship program? Now, the state is big on apprenticeship with
Mm-hmm.
CTE, and there's grant dollars in Chattanooga already as part of apprenticeships.
Mm-hmm.
Where does this track with that?
So that's what we're working on right now. So Humanot is one of the major agencies in town. Even though they're quiet, they're world renowned at what they do. So we're working with them directly to create that model.
Okay.
And then once that's done, we can replicate it with pretty much whoever. It's tricky because these are emerging economies within Chattanooga. So there's like X amount of entities that could actually support it, but Humanot, Whiteboard, those are two that can definitely do it.
Cool.
And then Johnson Group is one I want to try to connect with it as well.
I think Chief wants to get in on this conversation.
Well, so, Mr. Cuffman, I just had one question. So, to go back to Madam Vice Chair's question earlier about content creation. So, if I'm a young person and I am aspiring to go into the music industry, it's a music industry that has changed a lot over the years. And so, artists no longer are making lots of money from record sales, they're making lots of money from concerts. But then on the content side, I can produce content for social media and TikTok and generate advertising revenue and create new revenue streams. Is that accurate?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. All right, that's all I wanted to,
Yep.
yeah.
I'm not the only old folk at this table.
No, by far you're not.
I'm 34 and I'm having trouble keeping up with it now. There's things I'm like, I don't want to learn this. This is too much.
They're inventing a whole new economy. It's really fascinating.
It's a whole thing and it's changing real quick. So, hanging on, trying to keep up with these kiddies.
All right, we do have two more. I was not expecting to be wowed by this particular presentation. I admit, I was wowed, so.
There you go. Right on.
Thank you for being
Yeah,
here.
no problem at all.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all.
Keep up the
Thanks
good
for the
work,
support,
man.
for real. Thank you.
Yeah, keep up good work.
All right, so our next presenter is Mr. Walter Hitchcock.
Oh, dude.
He is
What's
the chairman of the board for Purpose Point Learning Academy, which received $900,000 as part of their early learning access expansion, which they actually built a new early learning facility adjacent to Mount Canaan Baptist Church out on Highway 58. So with that, I will let Mr. Hitchcock take it away.
Thank you for your time, everyone, this afternoon, to let me tell you about Purpose Point and where your money has gone to make a big difference in this community. Thank Mayor Kelly and the staff and the City Council. These are just some values that we promote at Purpose Point Learning Academy. Integrity, hospitality, innovation, inclusiveness, and diversity. Planning began for Purpose Point because there was a big need for early childhood in our community. As we all know, that one of the biggest things for parents is childcare. And right now, they're facing one of the biggest things is, do I go to work? Do I keep my child? And then at a reasonable rate. One of the things that I'm so proud of in our name is we're a learning academy. We're not just a daycare where you take your child, put them in front of a TV, and then pick them up at 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We invite every one of you to come by and see where your money has gone to the point where, again, it has made a difference in the community. But we wanted to be able to put out, we know that there was a need in the community for childcare. And what was one of the things Mayor Kelly had talked about in his tenure as becoming mayor is that he wanted to promote childcare. Next slide. We had a grand opening in 2021. We've been open, we just had our anniversary for 3 years. And we are busting at the seams. Next slide. When we first opened, we were licensed for 66 children aged 12 months to 5. We opened on July 4th of 2021 with 8 children and 4 staff. And again, we did no social media, no billboards, people needed licensed daycare and childcare, and we expanded quickly. Next slide. Through the ARP grant, we received $900,000 from the city of Chattanooga, and we started building out, and the projected cost was $2.4 million. This is one of the classrooms that has been totally built in the expansion. In phase two, in 2023, we added 33 additional childcare spaces, used the ARP grant to build out 2 additional classrooms. Now we're licensed for 99. This was in 2023. In 2024, which is phase three of the construction, we added 161 additional childcare spaces, used additional ARP funds and donations to build out 6 additional classrooms and 2 new playgrounds, office space, and infant care has begun. We now start with the age of 12 months for our childcare, up to age 5. These are some of our students, our children. Current enrollment, we're at 140 with 87 on the waiting list. As again, you can see the breakdown at what we have at Purpose Point. Some of the classrooms. Staffing, we total have 52 total staff members, 38 which are full-time and 3 are part-time, in addition to the 52. But let me say this about our staff. Our executive director is Miss Elwanda White. She retired from the state of Tennessee. She was a regional state advisor that went around and did all the recommendations for daycares. She is our Learning Academy executive director. Out of our staff, in 3 years, we've lost 2 staff members. You know, all the different ways employment and number one, she wanted to have a atmosphere of work, of inclusion and family and make you feel wanted. And you'll see a slide in here also as far as pay, but she has a way of, she hires good staff members. She interviews, she does her diligence in people, and again, like I said, you can ask, like I said, we're gonna have a grand opening because we want you to see exactly, they should be finished, they're saying the middle of this month of, well, by the end of the month of October, the completion of phase 3 completed. But we're gonna have a big grand opening, and we invite the city and the city council, everyone, the mayor, to come out and view where your money has gone. But I am so enthused about the staff there, because again, if you have a competent staff that's feeling like they're in a position and an employee that cares about you, and that also offers the stability that you have as far as pay and everything, Purpose Point, as she has done a tremendous job. These are some of our staff members. This is how exactly how our breakdown of the students, certificate programs, and these are from the state, private pay or just individual parents paying, scholarships, those are through the foundations, and then full scholarships, that's through also our board and our church that are paid. And one of the things I could say about this is that, again, parents have made a big deal about being able to drop their child off so they can go to work and feel like they have quality daycare. They can view online the classrooms, they get updates, we have meetings scheduled with their children and the parents, and we have great parental involvement. So one of the things we try to do at Purpose Point, again, to make that the whole entire family. These are some of the partnerships that we have. We partner with Head Start. They use 3 of our classrooms at PPLA. Partner with Wage Program, staff, participants. Partner with Work Ready. These are credentials that you would get from Chattanooga State to have your teacher's license. They're more like trained, and then they would come to us when we have an opening. And then they intern, and then they come and they mentor also, just to see our classrooms and how our teachers are. Our pay scale starts at $15 an hour minimum, and it depends on your education and your background, and go up to $21. And there's a yearly raise of a minimum of 3% provided by the board. We partner with the city of Chattanooga and their foster grandparents program. Right now, we have 2 current senior citizens serving as one in the infant room and one in the preschool room. And then we have 4 that just come whenever, because again, there's no mandate for them to come. It's just whenever they feel like coming, they come, they read to the children. So they are much needed also. Services to the parents, we do training with the parents. We discuss everything from budgeting, meal preparation, life insurance, kindergarten readiness, banking, counseling. These are offered to the parents. We have bi-monthly meetings with the parents to come back and not only meet with their teachers, but again, training for them also. We have a closet at the Learning Academy with cleaning supplies, diapers, clothing, because some of the parents are in need and they're on a tight budget, and we're able to provide some of these things. And we also have vouchers from the food bank. And then we also do referrals. What sets us apart? Quality rating improvement system. We scored 98 out of 100. Our church is totally on board with our Learning Academy. They sponsor large Christmas parties and gifts for every child each year. We've been doing it for the past 3 years and look forward to doing it again this year. Our community outreach is, we're getting ready to do our trunk or treat for the kids and the community. Everyone is invited to our Highway 58 campus. We do flu shots, Thanksgiving baskets, and we also have Purpose Point Community Health, which is a free clinic that we provide to the city of Chattanooga. Miss Councilwoman Oils has been over there many a times and supported us. And again, like I said, that's open to all of the parents, because a lot of these parents, they're on a tight budget and a lot of them don't have health care. And we offer that at our health clinic free of charge.
Councilman Hester, you got a question?
In 2020, we had, I guess, the ending of Baby University. And at that time, the data that was provided that a fourth of all the kids that entered into the Hamilton County school system were ill-prepared. They wasn't ready for school. As far as impact, what percentage of kids you think are ready for school once they graduate from your?
I'm glad you asked that question, because every one of our children have been tested and they're kindergarten ready.
Wow.
Every one. Last year, we graduated 13, all 13 are kindergarten ready. Ms. White has done a study. We've kept up with each of the children that have graduated from us, and we keep in touch with the parents. We let them know that we're here for them, and if there's any way we can assist, but every one of those children are kindergarten ready.
You guys are ensuring that they're not building more prison beds.
That's exactly what the main
That's right.
focus was, because we catch them at a young age, give them the opportunity, because we can't control the environment at home, but when they come there, we want to give them the skills to succeed, and that's where our focus is.
Great.
One of our future plans is to open up a charter school, eventually K through 5, because when you lay that foundation, and Ms. White has done a tremendous job as our executive director, we don't want to lose the kids. Because again, we've had some of these children are in the pipeline, you know, and we want to keep them, and our goal is to start a K through 5 in 2026. We're already doing the paperwork for the city and the state with the Hamilton County Board of Education. But we're looking forward to opening up K through 3 in 2026. So that way, when they leave daycare, they can go continuously through Purpose Point with their breaks.
Madam Vice Chair.
Well, first, thank you for asking about kindergarten readiness. That was exactly where I was, had questions about, and so thrilled to know how prepared your students are. The K-5 charter school starting with K-3, will that also be in your same facility? Do you
Yes.
still have enough expansion
Yes.
room?
We have plenty. If you're not familiar with that Kmart, it had 92,000 square feet.
Right.
And again, our sanctuary is on one side, and then our Learning Academy is on the other end where the automotive section was.
Okay.
We rebuilt that whole, and again, when you come out, and I'm not just saying this because I'm the board chairman, but you will be impressed.
Yeah, I've been
mean,
in
yes,
it before
and-
the expansion, and I was impressed.
We had a lady that came by, she says, I used to get my car down here in this classroom. But we have the playgrounds on the outside, the individual playgrounds for the child-age children. We're just blessed and thankful that the city of Chattanooga saw fit to help us get this started. And we realize there's a much needed. And from my understanding, we may be, if not the number one, we're number 2 at least, child learning academy in the city. That includes Shannon Center.
So am I understanding correctly that you're licensed for 161 seats
Correct.
and you've got 140 now? Is it, what's holding you back from those additional
The only thing that's holding us back is the teachers.
staffing?
Staffing
That's
for the
staffing.
classroom.
Okay.
And again, like I said, Ms. White is meticulous on how she
Yeah.
hires. And again, we know there's a need, but again, and even when we get calls every day, I just checked with her this morning, we got 3 calls this morning. Are there any openings? So again, we know there's a need in the city because
Huge need.
one parent called and said she's gonna lose her job if she misses another day. Because she get dependent, she don't have relatives here.
Yeah.
And, you know, we kind of bumped her up on the list because the fact that we understand, you know, there's such a need, but the thing about it is quality childcare. You can get pretty much somebody to watch your child, but are they getting anything out of that? And at that 2 and 3 year age, they should be picking out colors, and
Yeah.
so those are things that we try to focus on.
You got one more?
Well, I just observed that with Purpose Point, with Dynamo, and the mental health care that we discussed in our last session, that these ARP dollars in these instances have been catalytic for change, not just a one-time change, but for long-term change in our community. And I know that's something that was important to all of us, and it's, thank you for organizing it so that we can hear about it.
Councilman Ledford, then
The growth, the K through 5, the space was my biggest question. Any plans past that?
No, just
Do you
K.
have the space for that?
No, we have the room for K through 5, we have room for the multipurpose, the cafeteria, and the kitchen,
Then we're
and
done.
then we're stopping.
You got a big parking lot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right.
Let them get the K-5.
Well, again, like I said, expansion's down the road, but still, we're starting focusing on K through 5. And again, if we lay that foundation, again, we're just trying to promote. And like I said, the children that are going through, parents are looking forward to, because the word has been out there that we're going to start at K through 5. They would love to continue that child going through. And one of the things I can say about the daycare, it's not only the zip codes of, that's in 37416, but we have people, parents that drop their children off from downtown, go to work, come back, pick them up. Hickson, Harrison, East Brainerd. So it's just not that community, but again, we're focused on everybody because there was a big issue about Little Miss Mag closing, and that caused tremendous, and that caused tremendous hardship. So again, we realized that, again, with a waiting list of 87, we realized more could be open, and again, like I said, once we get those other classrooms open, we're gonna be maxed out.
Councilwoman Nolan?
Yeah, is there a program for those children that are on the spectrum?
No doubt, because of the fact that what we want to do is promote continued growth in those students. And again, we monitor every child that goes through there, even when we're trying to progress them all the way through their college education, we're hoping, but still at least through high school. But what we want to do is, like I said, we want those parents, because we make a big thing, we graduate kids, we have a big graduation ceremony, but we want to be able to track those kids as far as what if they have difficulties or what the problems are, and then focus on that. But so far, every child has been through in our 3 years that we've graduated, in pre-K to going, they're all kindergarten ready,
Okay.
every
So-
one of them.
So I was just curious, especially if those are on the spectrum, because it doesn't mean that they're not capable of learning.
No,
It just means that they
We,
do it a little differently.
We have
And so you have, I'm just wondering if those children are allowed to
yes,
have a
ma'am,
space.
yes, ma'am. Yeah, we
in
have
there, if it is
behavioral counselors come in and.
with
and
necessary
Yes,
counseling,
ma'am.
yes.
No.
Okay.
We have all, cause say, if we see a need for a child to have specialized care, we're not just gonna say, oh, we can't handle this. We
Okay.
bring that, we partner, we
Okay.
bring people in.
Cool. Good.
Councilman
Thank you.
Future plans, welcome to District 5.
Thank you so much. And
you.
again, like I said, when the grand opening comes, everyone is invited to see, and we're grateful for the city of Chattanooga, the city council, for allowing us to have these funds. It's been a great help.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Is
Yeah.
that Tyler Road on District 3 right now?
Right
now.
now. It is,
they're
right
coming
now,
over.
right
It's
now,
coming
right,
over, it's coming
right,
over.
right,
You're exactly right.
right.
Well, I've got a road like that in my district.
So our last presenter today is Dr. Michelle Pickett. She is the Executive Director of LifeSpring Community Health. And so she is here to talk about Mental Wellness Initiative. They were dispersed $600,000, and I'll let Dr. Pickett take it from here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, and a great thank you for awarding us this money for the period. So just to give you a little background on LifeSpring, some of you know us, some of you don't. We started as a ministry to kids who had no insurance. I'm a pediatrician back in 2005, 2006. We had about 200 patients a year because it was kind of an after-school clinic. And in 2023, we now have over 3,000 active patients. We had 6,000 visits in 2023. We have, back then it was just me as a pediatrician. Now we have 3 pediatricians. They're all part-time, so in any given day there's 2 providers in the office. But we have 3 pediatricians, 2 nurse practitioners, and a team of nurses, front office, and then we added community health workers because our focus on kids who have no insurance, or now we also take kids who have TennCare. The social determinants of health really impact how their health. And so we felt like we could not do pediatrics and take care of children unless we were addressing the environments in which they live in. And so our community health workers, they connect with our families. We survey them during well child visits. And if any of them have any insecurities, the biggest ones lately have been transportation and housing. The community health workers navigate other resources in the community and try to get those families connected. Over the pandemic, food insecurity became a huge problem. We thought, we were asking about it, and then we got a grant about a year ago that requires you to ask the question in a different way, called a food vital sign, and we discovered a third of our patients were missing meals and needed assistance. And so anyways, that's background on LifeSpring. In the midst of doing this work for 17 years, we discovered that children have intense mental health issues and concerns and needs. And part of just, if any of you have children and you go to the pediatrician, we ask about their emotional and mental health, and we were discovering children were stressed, they were anxious, they were depressed, and then during the pandemic, they were suicidal. And many of our staff, our nurses, were on the phone talking parents through crises until the police and the ambulance could get there. And so we started to sort of think about how can we meet this need, because 50% of our patients are Latino and another 25% are African American. Providing mental health is a little more challenging because unlike going to just a physical doctor where you go when you have a physical need, I think a lot of families don't even recognize the mental health needs that they have. And so, we looked and searched for mental health providers who represent our patients. So we actually didn't start our program until about a year and a half ago, in the beginning of August. And we hired Dr. Rachel Tolliver. She's a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and she is able to both prescribe for patients as well as counsel them. Our biggest challenge with her joining is that because we are TennCare providers and we wanted to provide the service to all kids, we had to create contracts with all the TennCare providers, that is Blue Cross, United, and Amira Group, or now WellPoint. And that process took 9 months.
Wow.
It was the most frustrating time. But in that time, she was able to, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but in that time, she was able to connect with the community, with the city, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what we've been doing with that. Allison DeJesus is a marriage and family therapist. She's an intern because she graduated with her master's and is now in a PhD program. In order for her to be licensed, she needs over 2,000 hours and to pass her exam. She passed her exam. She's about halfway through her hours. As soon as she's done with that, we're going to get her credentialed. But right now, she sees our uninsured patients, and she's bilingual. She's a Afro-Latina, and she is relating to our patients on a cultural level that we have had trouble connecting before. Next slide. So we kind of developed the program. I hired them to actually develop the program. I didn't hand them a program. Partly because I wanted to know what the community needed, what the community wanted, and not just create something and then expect people to come to it. So in that process, obviously the kids at LifeSpring needed it. So we are building an integrated program where the team involves pediatricians, nurses, community health workers, behavioral health. We hope to add developmental peds in the future, but that we can wrap around children and families. So that's part of the work that's been a little slower because of the credentialing process. But in the year, we decided that when we first started, we thought the priority was going to be just kids in the pediatric clinic, our clinic. And I think we went to Regional Health Council, and that's what we told them. Because we were waiting for credentialing, it actually gave us the opportunity to face outward and see what the community needs. And because both of them are able to see adults and children, we were able to partner. We had partnered with the mayor's, the city office of community health during COVID to provide COVID vaccines in the community centers. And so we again reconnected with Dr. Maharaj at the time, and she was doing more initiatives around violence and violence prevention, and had several different mental health providers in different community centers. So we were assigned to Chris Ramsey and the Opportunity High that meets there, and more recently the Carter Center and the Glenwood Center, which I think are combining. So what happens there is Allison and Rachel actually go to the centers. And for the Opportunity High and Chris Ramsey, she goes twice a week. She's there for 3 hours. She just kind of connects with kids. Sometimes she brings food and snacks just to engage them in talking, because one of the things we've realized is that the different cultures view mental health in different ways. And this is not blanket over all African American cultures, but the kids that we work with, and I grew up this way, is you don't talk your business in the street. And so the idea of sharing deep emotional things would, even if your doctor says you are depressed, you need to go to the therapist or the counselor, you're probably going to nod and say sure, but they never went. And so we're trying to figure out ways to break down barriers and build trust in relationships. So for the first, weeks she was there, she just literally sat and talked with them. But the whole plan was that she could actually do individual therapy if they and their parents consented. And so she actually has started to do some individual therapy with some of the kids there as they as they trust her more. And Rachel will be going to the Carver Center because they asked her if she could go there. Because they are now, they have the seniors from the Glenwood Center coming in the morning, and then the kids from Orchard Knob in the afternoon. So, and then we've done various things with the different schools. The Glenwood School is our most recent partnership. That's a micro school in Glenwood, and it has diverse students, and we're there 12 hours a week, and she teaches socio-emotional education. She goes from class to class, and they had a death of one of their students recently, the timing was, if you're a person of faith, was really a divine intervention because it was the week we started there, and they were on site every day to talk with kids and parents and teachers and help them to function through probably the most significant trauma we can experience as human beings, and that is loss of a loved one. Yeah. So I think I've talked more beyond my slides, but basically we collaborate in order to serve not just the kids as they come into the clinic, but outside of the clinic. So the collaboration with the city, with Glenwood School, and then the Memorial Cancer Center reached out to Rachel and asked if she would be willing to see patients who couldn't afford to go or couldn't get into to see either a therapist or a psychiatrist. Because she's a psychiatric nurse practitioner, she works under local psychiatrists as nurse practitioners in the state have to, but she's able to prescribe. So we are working on allowing them to refer patients as well.
Is that abnormal?
What?
Is it to be able to prescribe it under that system? Is that kind of a specialized?
Is it specialized for the nurse practitioner to be able to?
Do we see
prescribe?
that a lot?
So in Chattanooga and in the country, it's really psychiatrists typically is the person who prescribes for mental health issues.
Right.
Pediatricians and primary care providers have had to take that burden on. They are, and as speaking as one, we're comfortable to a certain degree.
Right.
And then when things get complicated, we want a psychiatrist, we want a specialist. And there's a shortage of psychiatrists, and being able to get into one, particularly when we have kids who are Spanish speaking, are culturally not even sure. They feel if you send them to a psychiatrist, they feel like they're crazy. And so the psychiatric nurse practitioner is a nurse practitioner who does a very specific training. That is that what you're getting at?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that is a very specific training. It's not just any nurse practitioner. So she actually has her doctorate in nursing to do that. And with that certification, it means that she can both serve as a counselor and do individual therapy, but she can also see patients. Say the pediatrician, one of our pediatricians, is struggling with the meds for ADHD, and they can refer that kid to them. She can sort that out, try to get them to an appropriate dosing level, and then so yes.
Yes. Very.
Yes,
Yes.
very, very focused.
Thank you.
So we also have been involved in education, just going and again, this is an effort to make mental wellness a part of what we talk about just in terms of general health. And so interestingly enough, the Macaulay School, you wouldn't expect us with our focus to be there, but through some connections, they asked Allison to come over Oh, I know, they actually have a mental health club at Macaulay, which I thought was super impressive for middle school and high school students. It was student-led. They invited her in to tell them how to deal with anxiety. It was a really, so she actually took that and created a kind of curriculum, and she's taken it to other schools and other situations where kids are gathered together to just open up a conversation about. And here's a good example of why we don't often think of that. But a Latino man came and told me that he was driving along, he had these symptoms, his heart was hurting, it was racing, it was hurting, he was breathing and hyperventilating, and then it kind of went away, and that kept happening, and he just thought he was dying. Until he was able to talk to somebody and realize that those are the symptoms of a panic attack, and understanding what a panic attack is and how that relates to anxiety and trauma and all those things. We take sometimes for granted these things that we have gained in our experiences, and a lot of our families don't have that. They don't make those connections. And so a lot of the education is about seeing, you know, that feeling you get in the pit of your stomach, like before you have to present before city council? That's part of your emotional, psycho-emotional system anyway. So, yeah, that's the education piece.
Do you think social media play a big part in the anxiety for the high schoolers and the middle school kids?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think it is a pressure. They're constantly on it. They're comparing themselves constantly, and you always come up short. So there's this sense of we're perpetuating these, and everybody puts a filter on everything anyways, and everybody's presenting the best part of their life, but kids are taking that in and feeling like one young lady said to me, I feel like I'm a loser. And so it's perpetuating that, and then it's also addictive because it stimulates dopamine, and it's kind of, and it's isolating. I mean, I think there's so many ways that it's impacting mental health that we are not even fully aware. So part of the money you gave us was to help us renovate our space so that we can actually accommodate our providers and connect them also with the community health workers and the rest of the clinic. And so I am not showing you the finished product because I want you to come to our open house. This is, the construction ended actually just about a month ago. We're still cleaning up and getting ready, and but we've invited the mayor to come, and we're inviting you to come, and we will hopefully have some of our doctors and nurses and community health workers and Dr. Tolliver and Allison there, so you can walk around, see them, see their spaces, and talk to them about what they're doing. It's a celebration, really. We're just very excited that this grant is able to help us establish something that we hope will be around and grow and continue to serve the community going forward.
All right. Any follow-up questions? No? All right, thank you so much for coming and presenting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, council, unless there is something else that needs to be brought to our attention at this time, we'll go ahead and reset, end this session.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you at 3:30.
All right.